This is WWE Hall of Famer Tito Santana, and you are listening to Houston Wrestling Radio. Yo, this is Bandits from TNA, and you're listening to Houston Wrestling Radio.
Hey, this is Buff Bagwell, and guess what? I'm buff, I'm the stuff, and the girls still can't get enough. And if you're anybody, you'll be listening to Houston Wrestling Radio, or I'm going to show you why I'm buff and why I'm the stuff.
Hello and welcome everyone to the 48th edition of Houston Wrestling Radio. This is Abel.
This is Travis.
And hey, guess what?
What?
No Chris.
Oh, that's why it's so quiet in
Yeah,
here.
we decided to part ways with Chris because, well, you know, he's turned out to be a bit of a potty mouth. And,
so?
Yeah, a little bit.
I tried to warn you about him.
I know, but,
You never listened to me.
Yeah, it just didn't really work out because we were just trying to kind of have a different, I don't know, perspective. What's that?
Are you guys in there?
I don't hear anything, so let's keep on going.
Oh, God.
So we're going to have a new episode.
He's not going to stop.
Are you guys recording without me?
Oh, here he goes.
Damn it.
I know I didn't come all the way over here for nothing. Damn it.
Should I let him in?
I thought we told him we're going to record another day, not Tuesdays.
Well,
He didn't buy it, did he?
I can see y'all through the doggy door.
he's coming in through the doggy door.
Damn it.
Why do you have a doggy door? You have fucking cats.
I
just
don't know.
cussed. Dang it, I just cussed. The whole reason, well, fine. If I cussed, I might as well let him in, right?
Why not?
Why?
He's not going to go away. God, he's like a child.
All right.
He's like a
fine.
man-child. Let the man-child in.
Oh, hey, Chris.
Hey,
You're
man.
there.
Hey, it's so nice
All the
meeting you
lights
here.
were off.
Hi.
Wow.
All the lights were off. All the doors were off.
Yeah, how's it
what's
going?
up, Chris?
Long time no see.
Yeah.
Guys, what's going on?
Oh,
Fancy meeting you here.
Nothing?
Yeah, right? Well, we all are set up and everything.
Yeah.
We
We were just about to start.
Yeah, we were
So we're just testing then?
Yeah. We're just
Oh,
down.
cool.
Yeah. So
Everything sounds good?
Yeah, you didn't miss anything. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're just recording the bloopers?
I can't do this. All right.
Do what?
Chris, we gotta talk.
Oh, hell.
Chris, you have a potty mouth, man.
You're not the first person to tell me that.
And I have a potty mouth, too.
As we just noticed.
Yeah.
It smells. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? This is what we're gonna do. Guys.
Okay. If you want to still be on the show,
Yeah, if you want to still be on the show, this will be for me and Trav also.
well, more for you.
Well,
Abel.
we'll have a little swear jar here. You got some change? You got any loose change?
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, cool. So that's what we'll do. We'll institute a swear jar, and then we'll keep you on the show. Okay, Chris?
We'll give it a shot. Why not?
All right, let's give
Man,
it a
this
shot.
thing's gonna be full by the end of the night.
Oh, I know. God damn it. There you go.
And I thought I was going to be the first one to screw it up.
Oh, I was.
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk it?
I thunk it
All
actually.
right.
I couldn't
Well-
figure that much.
Let's let our listeners in on why we're doing this whole thing and why we're deciding that we want to kind of tighten up our language here and not be a bunch of drunken sailors cussing away.
Chris.
We had a great time at the Clutch City Productions SuperShow, and we had a lot of parents come up with kids, and we had our show playing in our booth. And, there was always so many kids that were interested in we would be like, hey, listen to our show. But then we had to go to the parents, but, be careful, and you gotta, cause we kind of cuss a lot, and,
Kinda.
you can listen to it, but you might not want to let your kid listen to it, but yeah, you know what? We'll work on it. We won't cuss anymore. And that's basically how the conversation went every time we had an adult come up to the booth that had a kid that was interested in our show.
Way to negotiate.
Yeah, I was like,
It's
listen
not,
to
it's not, no, we'll go halfway or we'll try this. He just went straight up blue balls. Like, nah, we won't do it no more.
Yeah, exactly. I think that blue balls, put a coin in.
That constitutes as a...
That
Really?
I don't know. That's
Because
a-
Does
blue
it?
is the color in the box and balls are round spherical things that bounce sometimes. I don't know if you put them both together. I don't see how.
We'll let you pass on that one.
All right.
Okay, that was your first pass. All right, there you go. So, we kind of started realizing, let's try to be a little bit more professional and try to, be more acceptable in case the kids are deciding to listen, and in case some of those parents that came up to our booth want to listen and have their kids listen too. So, there we go. This is going to be a difficult road for us. For
you.
And Chris. You too, Trav. You're no angel over there,
Says
all
the guy
right?
that's already cussed.
I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah, oh,
I didn't want to say it, but whose coin's there?
that's my dime.
Yeah.
That's my dime. All right. Okay, so that's that. But speaking of the Clutch City Productions SuperShow, we had an awesome time. It was really fun. We had our little booth there set up, and we had a lot of people coming up to our booth, and we did the whole little trivia thing, and we had our Nintendo 64 out there. We had some giveaways. I don't know. I think it was pretty productive, and we got to meet some cool people, other vendors as well, and we just had a pretty darn good time.
Yeah, we had a good old time out there. I really had a blast doing the trivia in the tournaments there for the video games.
Yeah, that was really fun. That was really fun when we had that first trivia session that we did. We had 4 competitors, and we had like 2 or 3 people that were with at least one of the competitors that were behind them. So we had a total of like, I don't know, maybe 20 people just at our booth just for the trivia game. It was pretty cool, just kind of cheering on the people that were actually doing the trivia, and it was freaking awesome.
And we did post up pictures on our Facebook page, and I think you just finished up doing a little video package.
Yeah. While we were out there, we were all taking pictures. We tried to record some audio, and I also took some video clips with my flip camera, and I compiled all of those video clips that I took and put them all together on a nice little highlight video package that we just got done uploading right before we started recording the show. So go to our YouTube page and check it out and see all the cool stuff that you missed out on if you didn't get to go. But it's some pretty awesome stuff. Especially, one other thing that we haven't really touched on yet that was cool from the convention was just the wrestlers that were there and the people we got to meet and talk to. Of course, we got to walk up to and talk to in person the people that we've interviewed over the past month in Tito Santana, Buff Bagwell, and SuperMex Hernandez. And all of them, all 3 of them, they were so cool and they were so friendly with us. They were so nice. Tito Santana, you got to chat with them for a little bit, and he was, very cordial, and he was just happy to hear that we had some success and positive responses from our interview. He thought that was great.
Yeah.
And then when we got to go walk up to SuperMex, he did us a pretty good solid in autographing our figure that we had of him so that we could use as a giveaway. That was pretty cool of him to do, and he kind of gave us a hard time about our shirts. He's like, "Oh, you wearing those shirts? Well, you didn't give me one." So we'll give SuperMex a shirt.
I had an extra one in the car.
Yeah,
I said they don't make them in SuperMex size.
Yeah, so I told you after you said that, I was like, "Yeah, man, they didn't have it in super swole size." And he's like, "Man, I wear a medium." That medium was almost tearing off of his body, but still, it was a medium.
I see a strategy there.
So you know what, SuperMex, if you're listening, dude, we'll get you a shirt out as soon as we can, man. And then after that, we went and we got to talk to Buff Bagwell. And he was really, really friendly. He kind of went out of his way. He didn't really get to make it on time on Saturday, right? Mm-hmm. He was kind of late. He had some problems with the airport with his luggage and whatnot. He showed up a little bit late, kind of after everything was already, wrapping up. But you know what he did? He did the convention a favor, and he said, "You know what, guys? It was my bad. I missed out. I'll come on Sunday." He wasn't scheduled to be there on Sunday. He didn't have to come out or whatever, but he did. And that was really awesome of him. It was a really classic thing for him to do. So, anybody that missed him on Saturday, he was there Sunday, and I hope you got to go out and meet him. But if you didn't, I'm sorry, but hey, maybe next time. But he did make the attempt. So that was really awesome. And, he hooked us up with a couple autographs there too. And, some pictures that's, you could see that on, the Facebook page and the Twitter, and you could also see that on that video package I referenced earlier. But there are some cool things about the couple of 8x10s that we were trying to get from him to autograph. And Trav, why don't you tell us the story, let the listeners know the story about the 8x10s that he had.
The actual ones we chose to get autographed?
Yeah.
Okay. There was 2 of them. One was, an action shot of him doing it. It was during a match, I think on Thunder. He's in the picture, he's doing a drop kick to Vampiro.
Yeah, Vampiro.
And it's just a clean shot, no blurriness or anything during the movement of the move. And, he had a story for that, He said it's an interesting picture because it's not a production shot because it's not on one of the hard camera sides.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the entrance ramp on the ground, and must have come from a fan, but because of that, there's no way of knowing,
who it was.
Who did the
he
picture.
said this was taken from a fan, but we don't know who it was. He doesn't know who took that picture of him, but it was such high quality that he was able to make it into an 8x10.
I think Chris was taking credit for it last time I checked.
Yeah, I try to take credit for as much as I can.
We know that. Yeah. The other one was just I don't know if it was a promo shot or something, but it was him in his little NWO overalls, the white and black with the lightning and everything on him.
And the top hat.
Yeah, and the top hat, of course, yeah. But he actually had an interesting story about that, you know, and he said those jeans, those overalls were Tommy Hilfiger's.
Right.
And apparently, Tommy Hilfiger company didn't want their name brand on their TV show. So they got the cease and desist from them not to have their logo on their TV show. So he just put over the Tommy Hilfiger logo, Buff Gear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So if y'all remember that from TV, like if y'all remember like when he was coming out and he always had that Buff Gear sign on his clothes, that was because they were forced to cover up Tommy Hilfiger.
Yeah.
That explains why I couldn't find any of the Buff Gear at the
There
Macy's.
you go. Exactly.
Yes.
That
They
explains
weren't
it.
checking the right gaps there.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I like the way he said it too. He was like, we were the top rated show in all of cable, and you're telling me Tommy Hilfiger doesn't want me to be wearing their clothes for free publicity on TV? I mean, Buff was just really, really cool to talk to. He was really, really friendly to us.
Yeah, as you couldn't tell from the little the intro bumper that you probably heard when you first started.
Right, and he gave us right then and there an awesome intro bumper, which, yeah, if you're listening to the show now, you heard it already. So that was really cool for him to do right there on the floor of the convention. Everybody kind of turned around and looked like, what? Why is he yelling at these people? What's going on? It was so awesome. We even had a couple come up to our booth immediately after that and was like, did he do that promo for you guys? I was like, yeah, he sure did. Oh, wow, that was really cool. So it was awesome with him. Now, of course, we can't forget about the big three, the Wolfpack, NWO, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and X-Pac.
I want to say one thing real quick.
Okay.
The one purpose I had going there was to meet Scott Hall.
He looked great.
He looked awesome. And I just always wanted to meet him in general. You know, I never got a chance to meet him. I met Kevin Nash a few times already. X-Pac, I wanted to meet him too, but he was with fans, so I didn't get a chance to say anything or meet him. But Scott Hall, he looked great. He sounded great. I mean, whatever he's doing that you see on the internet and everything, it is working, because that man, he looked great.
Yeah, you would never know that he had been going through the problems that he had
He had
been
a
going through.
good attitude. He was, I mean, him and Nash were cracking jokes, with us, it was great.
Yeah. And, Nash too, when we went up there and we were talking to Nash, he had some funny stuff going on. See, okay, I gotta kind of describe this a little bit. Hall and Nash were at the same, 8-foot table. They were sitting at the same table, and we only gotten the autograph for Scott Hall because we're cheap. And, we really wanted to talk to Scott Hall. But the thing was, Kevin Nash, even though you're sitting right there next to him, when you went to ask, hey, can I get a picture with you, Scott? He said yes. You went around back to take the picture and intended to only take the picture with Scott Hall. But what's Kevin Nash do? He leans on over.
Yeah.
He wasn't prompted to do this. He just did it on his own. He leans on over and puts himself in the picture. And that was freaking awesome. And it was just a classy thing for him to do. He didn't have to do it.
And now that's my Facebook cover photo now.
The young people call it photobombing.
Yes, photobombing. That's what he did. Basically. But
You said it too, right?
Yeah, I did kind of say, we got a photobomb here. But before that, he was kind of, just sitting there chit-chatting because he saw us standing there waiting for Hall. And he was just kind of being Kevin Nash. And
He was joking about being dressed as a hipster.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was kind of funny.
He had on a tank top that was striped, and the guy behind me was like, hey man, that's a nice tank top. And he was like, yeah, I'm trying to be a hipster now, and
All I need is a fedora.
yeah, all I need is a fedora, and what kind of shoes did he say? Toms. Yeah, I need fedora and Toms. I'm close to being a hipster, but I'm not. It was like, he's just sitting there chit-chatting with us just like a regular dude. And, sometimes, especially with the Clique and the, NWO, Wolfpack and all those people, they always kind of get a little bit of a bad rap of always being too hoity-toity, too high and mighty, just kind of untouchable. These guys weren't. We said that we didn't get to talk to X-Pac. This is why we didn't get to talk to X-Pac. He was busy going out of his way taking pictures with an entire group of people that were in line in front of us. And there was another dude in a wheelchair that rolled on up that wanted to take a picture with him too. Right. Not only did he sign their 8x10s, which they paid for, he also got out from behind the booth and was taking pictures with every single one of those dudes in that group. Yeah. And he was being friendly the whole time. Yeah. So it was really awesome. They were a real class act.
I will say, just from past experiences, that was the friendliness and happiest I've seen Kevin Nash. I met him other times and he was cool, but he wasn't really talkative like he was over this weekend.
Did you get to meet Kevin Nash when he was doing autographs on behalf of TriStar? Yes. When Victory Road was at Reliant Arena?
I went to a TriStar show, a convention, and he was there. I don't know if that's the one you're talking about.
No, the pay-per-view the first TNA pay-per-view they had here, Kevin Nash was signing autographs when I first ran into Abel in the entryway and damn near chokehold him.
Damn.
Oh, okay. Just like dropped you like I did a kind of clutch on you and you didn't even know who it was.
Yeah.
And the police officer was staring like
the police officer thought something was going down.
Yeah. I noticed out of the corner of my eye, Kevin Nash was standing there doing autographs for TriStar. Mm-hmm. And I got the same vibe. Like he looked like he was cool. He looked like he was cool just doing his stick, but he didn't. The time that I was there, he did look like he was having a real good time. Like he was happy to be there. I guess maybe it was.
I thought
Scott being there.
I think that's what it was.
Brushed off on everybody.
I think it's what it was. I think he was so happy being with Hall and X-Pac.
Yeah.
Because it was the first time they've been together.
Well, I mean, Hall has such an awesome story that if you are his friend, I can imagine that you can't be grumpy around him.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Like, you're just so grateful that he's in such great shape that he's in and that he's overcome all these demons that he has in the past year that you can't help but be like, dude, I'm so glad that I'm hanging out here with you at some random signing in the middle of Houston, Texas somewhere, you know. Like, I think that's probably what it was. I'm basically agreeing with you, but I'm rambling.
A lot of people made an effort to meet Scott Hall. One person in particular showed up late. As we were leaving...
What are you pointing at me?
As we were leaving, we finished setting up and everything. Put the stuff in Abel's shaggin' wagon. Me and Trevor walking down the parking lot. Yes. And while Travis is yakking with the wife about food, some guy comes to me on the side and he goes, "Hey, you guys know where Scott Hall's at?" And I'm like somebody just nonchalant, like he knew us, like if we were his friends, like, "Hey man, you know where Scott's at?" And I turned around, it's freaking Montel Vontavious Porter.
MVP
out of nowhere. Yeah. Wrestlers actually trying to make the effort to come see Scott Hall because, they probably would have had the same mindset that we did. It's like, damn, Scott Hall's looking great. I need to go see him. And it was just odd. I shook his hands. I shook 3 of his fingers. It's like, oh man, he split. I was like, oh man, that's too bad. I was really hoping to meet him.
You shook 3 of his fingers?
He had his hands full.
MVP,
but I didn't want to be rude.
I think MVP was just like, okay, cool. I don't think he's like going to shake your hand and you just grabbed his hand and started shaking.
You think he was just gesturing at you? Yeah. Like, oh yeah, thank you. Yeah. Oh, okay. You just grabbed his fingers.
I took advantage of it.
Yeah, see, MVP wasn't one of the scheduled guests to be there autographing. So
what if the promoter even knows he even showed up?
I don't know.
That would have been a good unscheduled guest to have as a...
Yeah, that would have been pretty cool. Yeah. We'll have to, let old boy Gilbert know, the guy who's in charge of Clutch City Productions. They're like, hey, MVP was there, Yeah. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Because he wanted to meet Scott Hall.
He wanted to meet Scott Hall as a fan.
Yeah. Yeah, that's freaking awesome. That just kind of goes to show how much of a big deal it was that Hall was here to do a signing.
That Hall's alive in general. Yeah, right. It's a big deal.
Yeah, I don't know if I could overstate it, enough. I mean, I might be talking about it a whole lot here, but it's a big freaking deal.
It's still understating it.
Yeah,
because we've seen how bad Scott Hall can get.
Yeah,
it's been shown on YouTube. It's been shown on the news channels. It's been everywhere. We've all seen the clips. We've all heard the clips. If you haven't seen the indie promotion that decided to hire Scott Hall and he showed up wasted, and 2 wrestlers had to help him to the ring, stagger.
Yeah, get him
into the ring to cut a slurred promo. If you haven't seen that. Look for it. If you haven't seen the ESPN E60 documentary show that highlighted Scott Hall's addiction and talked about his rise to stardom to where he was at now. If you haven't seen that, go see that. If you haven't seen Jake the Snake's, DDP's interview with Jake Roberts where they call Scott Hall over the phone and invite him to go to the accountability crib, even to this day, that video is moving.
It's just so much that Scott Hall has gone through. It's just so great seeing, where he's at now. And
looking at him over the weekend, if you didn't know all that,
you would have never known.
You would have never known.
No.
You would have just thought, oh, he's just another wrestling guy that they got to come sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was so cool. Thank you so much to Clutch City Productions. If you guys have another show coming up, we are going to be more than happy to help you guys out the same way we did with this show. We'll be more than happy to go and be a part of that
Above and beyond, apparently, Mr. MC Abel.
Above and beyond. That's
MC
right.
such and such over here.
Yeah, I got to MC the event a little bit. Gilbert came up and said, "Hey man, you want to help us out?"
Such a diva boy, man.
Got on the mic, robble.
Yeah, he just handed me a mic. He's like, "Hey, whenever so and so comes into the show, can you announce it?" Like, yeah, I will.
Anyone that watches a YouTube video of the recap will prove my point that Abel has a voice for radio and a face for radio.
Thanks a lot, Chris.
I want to see
This guy.
next time. Let's put the mic in Chris's hands over here.
Oh, I'll be the first one to tell you I'm horrible.
I want to see what would happen with that. Just you with a live mic. Oh.
I've told you guys before. I hear myself on the playback of the audio, and it sounds like I have a Cody Rhodes lisp.
No, you don't. You don't have a lisp at all.
So that's what it sounds like. I bet the listeners think I'm a call Kaiser screwy.
You're being overly critical of yourself. You sound just fine. Anyway.
Says MC whatsoever.
Yeah. Take it from a professional.
Oh Jesus!
Take it from the man with a
Your
golden
head's inflating
voice.
a little.
All right. We kind of referenced this a little bit beforehand during all this talk. We did get a chance to record a little bit of audio from the convention. Basically, we had a few people that have been listeners of our show, fans of our show, that we got to talk to. We had Jaime Martinez. He came up to our booth. He talked to us, chatted with us for a little while, and I pretty much recorded a little bit with him about his opinions for Match of the Year, since we've been talking about Match of the Year so much over the last couple of weeks. He wasn't the only one. That was on Saturday. On Sunday, we also had our friends Mary Shelley and Nicole Bacon show up at our booth.
Bacon.
That's Abel's line, actually.
That's just her last name, man. I'm not really talking about bacon.
Bacon.
I know.
Oh, God.
Just with the last name, I know we'd get along just fine.
Yeah. Anyway.
I just keep staring at her like, you look so edible. What's your name? Miss Bacon? Oh.
Is that considered a swear jar moment?
Nope.
I don't technically no, unfortunately. Okay, so anyway, we got to talk to those two about Match of the Year as well. So, it was pretty awesome. We'll get to that audio here in a second. I also want to let you know about two other people that we got a chance to talk to here. We had Will, and Will was he was an awesome kid. And I'm not sure how old he was. I think do you remember what his dad said, how old he was?
He's not old enough to know what a swear jar is.
Right. Well, he shouldn't be anyway. He shouldn't be. But he was an awesome little kid. He was there for our first and our second, trivia challenges. And he won both
of them.
He won both of the trivia challenge. It was him versus 3 grown dudes that have been watching wrestling fans just like us, and he beat them both times. This kid was amazing. I don't know how he knew all of this stuff, but he was just freaking adorable. He kept coming up to our table asking, every 5 minutes, is it time for the trivia? Is it time for the trivia? Is it time for the trivia? And, cause we were doing it at certain times. We were doing it on the hour. We would do the trivia, and then the next hour we would do the video game, and we'd switch off. So he just kept coming up to our booth because he kept wanting to win stuff, and I guess he knew he would win stuff because he was just that darn good. And, it was just awesome. So after he won the second time, we were like, you know what? Let's throw him on the show and have him have his little, victory speech. So that was cool. And then, after that, we also have another kid, and his name is Mason. Now, Mason participated in our second battle royal that we did. And it turned out that battle royal, for some reason, we attracted more kids to that than, we did the whole day. Our first battle royal, we had Quinn. Now, you could watch Quinn and his battle royal be documented on the YouTube. So I won't get to that. But here on the second battle royal, it was nothing but kids. And we had more than 4. We had 6, right, Chris?
8, and then 2 adults.
8 and then 2 adults. That's what it was. So we set it up to where it was a Royal Rumble, actually, not a Battle Royal. And, whenever one kid would get eliminated, they would switch out and blah, blah, blah. Well,
the last two couldn't lose.
The last two couldn't lose. I'm not sure if we're going to do it quite that way again, because it was kind of disorganized there with trying to figure out who's in and who's out. But the last two, it came down to Mason, and I think the other kid's name was Adrian, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
I think it was Mason and Adrian. And it got to the point where it was like 20 minutes into this Royal Rumble. We're like, okay, forget this. Let's just restart. Let's just restart and have a one-on-one match with these two. So, that way it took out the computers coming in there, just eliminating themselves. So we had another one-on-one match with those two kids, and they got very competitive. They were like really into it. If you could have seen their facial expressions, it was priceless. But that went on for 10 minutes?
10, 12 minutes.
That one match, and Mason finally came out with the win. Well, Adrian got a little upset because, he was really into it, and, it
was competitive. Both of them were into it.
Yeah, as kids sometimes get. He got a little upset. Well, the prize that Mason won was, Chris, your signed autographed RVD figure and the sealed ECW One Night Stand. It was, 2 prizes in one. Well, we gave it to Mason. Mason saw how upset Adrian was, and he handed the DVD over to Adrian and said, "Here you go, man." That was so precious of a moment. It's like, the innocence of youth. I wouldn't have done that. Being a grown man. I wouldn't have done that. All right, I won this. And Quinn didn't do nothing like that when he beat that little kid in the other Battle Royal. But we'll talk about Quinn later. Go watch the YouTube video and you'll see all about Quinn. But, that was really awesome. So that's the other, victory speech, is Mason, and that was a pretty cool victory speech too, but I'll let that speak for itself. Let's go ahead and cut to all of those little pieces of audio, okay?
All right.
All right, guys, we're here at the Clutch City Productions SuperShow, and we had a fan of our show show up here, Jaime Martinez, and we've been chit-chatting, and I figured, hey, why not ask him a few questions and record a little bit with him. So, welcome, Jaime. Thanks for coming up.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, all right. We've been talking about this the last couple of weeks because, just some matches came up out of the blue on what we think is Match of the Year candidate. And I want to get a perspective from a fan. Now, let me throw out which one so far we had as Match of the Year candidate. We've had Brian Cesaro from Raw a couple of months ago. And we've also had Punk Cena from Raw several months ago, toward the beginning of the year. And then, of course, the two from SummerSlam, where it was Lesnar and Punk, and then, of course, Bryan and Cena. Out of those 4, which one would you pick as Match of the Year? Or would you pick something completely different?
Actually, I would pick Daniel Bryan and Cesaro, because they kind of get fused the whole MMA and wrestling, and I really like that. And then the whole ROH strong style, I really love that style, you know what I mean? So it kind of showcased it that, the WWE style is not the only style in wrestling.
There you go. That's a good answer. There you go. All right. We'll definitely take that into consideration when we say what is our Match of the Year at the beginning of the year. But, hey, thanks so much for dropping by and saying hi and letting us record you, man.
Right, thank you. Thank you. Houston Wrestling Radio, man. Listen to it.
All right, and we ran into a couple of more of our longtime listeners. We have Mary Shelley and Nicole Bacon come up to our booth here at the good old convention here. So, hey, thanks for stopping by our booth, guys.
No problem.
Yeah, I wanted to come by anyway, so.
Awesome. Well, thank you. That makes me feel better.
I text you to come, so.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Well, here, since you guys are here, let me ask you. We've been talking a lot about Match of the Year over the past couple of weeks, and I'd like to know your input on what you guys think is Match of the Year. Now, let me tell you which ones so far that we have picked out. We have from Raw, towards the beginning of the year, Cena versus Punk.
Ew.
And then we also have from Raw just about a month ago, Cesaro versus Bryan. And on SummerSlam, there was 2. There was Punk Lesnar and then Bryan Cena. Out of those 4, what do you think should be Match of the Year?
I like Cesaro Bryan. I was there. I was actually front row, but not on the floor. It was
in Austin, yeah.
It was in Austin.
And we got that for a graduation present.
Yeah, they got, yes. Thank you. I can't get a job though. Hire a teacher if you need a teacher. Anyways, I was there and the electricity in the room was ecstatic. Everybody was on their feet. It was, I feel like the crowd was pleasantly surprised with Cesaro that he was doing everything he was doing. He was giving Bryan a good match, and I wasn't surprised. I've seen him wrestle before. Indies and stuff, but just the crowd reaction in Austin when it came on their feet. It was just, you would have been there.
Okay.
In Austin.
Mary, what do you think?
I think it's CM Punk and Brock Lesnar. You have the best versus the beast. And a part of SummerSlam, all the matches sucked until then. And then when CM Punk came out, everybody just screaming in the stadium, and we were watching it on the pay-per-view, and just the intensity of that, and then Punk went all out. So I thought that was the match of the year. CM Punk is my favorite and all that, but just the match that they put on, they took out all the stops in there, and they were just balls to the wall. Even though the outcome wasn't what we wanted, but it makes for a great match. So that's what I go with.
Well, there you go. There's still plenty of year left. It's not quite January yet. No. But in January, of course, we're going to talk about this more and decide what is going to be match of the year. Yeah. So, hey, thanks so much for dropping by our booth, and thanks so much for giving your input on match of the year.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, we've been having fun here all day long at the Clutch City Productions SuperShow, and we've had 2 trivia giveaways, and we had somebody participate in both of them, and he won both times. It's our friend Will here. Will, say hello.
Hello.
So, Will, you won 2 times on our little trivia with some other adults and stuff. How do you feel about that?
Feel really good about it.
Good. So I guess you really like wrestling since you know all these answers to the trivia question. Wrestling so much.
I love it. I just don't know why.
Well, that's a good enough answer as any, huh? There you go. All right. Well, thanks, Will. Thanks for coming down here and visiting our booth.
Thank you.
All right, and now we have another winner here. It's Mason. He won our big battle royal that we did for the Rob Van Dam signed autographed figure, and he did a pretty good job. He went through a battle royal, went through several other competitors, and then after that we set up a one-on-one with 2 people, and then he wound up beating them. It took a whole 30 minutes or so to do it, but he won. So Mason, how do you feel about winning?
I'm just shocked I won.
Well, you did a good job. You did really good. So you really like wrestling? Who's your favorite wrestler?
The Miz.
The Miz? Really? Good. See? One of my favorite wrestlers is The Miz, and those guys, they don't like The Miz, and they make fun of me because I like The Miz. No. Do you really like The Miz, right?
Yeah.
See, he's a good kid. You like The Miz. High five. There you go. Well, thanks so much for coming out, and thanks for our show and playing our game here.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
All right, there we go. So, thanks so much for all you guys coming out to the show and recording a little something with us. We're definitely going to take the suggestions there of Nicole, Mary, and Jaime into consideration when we talk about Match of the Year in January.
Man, January. If we can remember that far from now.
Well, that's why we have the power of recorded.
I'm still thinking about bacon.
That I believe. Yes.
Oh, jeez. And can you believe The Miz? Mason said his favorite wrestler is The Miz.
Oh man!
Did you pay him to say that?
No, I didn't. I was just as surprised as everyone else when he said that.
I've got my fingers crossed. I hope the boy grows up to be somebody.
Well, liking The Miz, it means he will grow up to be somebody.
Spoken like a true Mark.
He's got a bright future ahead of him.
Shut up, Mark.
Mason, don't listen to these two, okay? It's just perfectly fine to
get
like
on with the show,
Miz.
Mark.
Speaking of The Miz, let's talk about The Miz on WWE TV.
Hell no.
Why would we want to do that?
You just said hell.
Man, here, you know what? Here's about 2 extra coins because I'm about to drop a bomb right off the bat.
All right.
I know damn well that I did a better job
that's too
than Jerry Lawler and freaking Michael Cole did. I did not need to have a 5-minute segment of WWE downloading app for dummies. Those are 5 minutes I'm never going to get back. That was, look, let me see. Look, here's my phone. Let me just give you an example.
Well,
I've got Sonic Dash, Plants vs. Zombies 2, the Merriam-Webster Dictionary. I've got,
you have the dictionary on your phone?
Yeah. I've got Stunt Biker, Sonic Dash, Siege Hero. I know how to download apps. I'm not an idiot. Just because I'm Mexican doesn't mean I need to be taught everything. I know how to download stuff. I honestly think I did a damn better job showing you, the listeners, how to download the WWE app. But
I'm eternally thankful for you showing me how to do that.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
And your appreciation appreciates me even more. I did not need
I still
that.
had trouble doing it, but I really
That irked me so bad that I literally had to get up and walk and pace and let that out. I was actually angry.
Did you not have fast forward juice? Were you watching it live?
I was watching it live with my nephew.
don't ever do that, man.
I know. I'm learning my lesson the hard way. I'm going to have to get some DVRs installed in my sister's house.
I did that once because I had cable issues, but I was able to watch it, but I couldn't fast forward or anything. Oh, that was so bad. It was so hard to get through. I feel you, man. I just, try not to do that ever again. Get a VCR and do.
I think that's what I'm gonna have to end up doing.
Just get a blank VHS.
I'm trying to get used to not having my DVR, my baby, Thelma, but for some reason I just can't live without it.
You named your DVR Thelma?
Yeah.
Who's Louise? Your TV?
Yeah.
Really?
No.
Okay.
Just trying to make you feel special.
Oh, thank you.
I hated that. Ugh.
I call mine Betsy.
Betsy? Well, at least you didn't name it Bacon.
I might have to reconsider.
Yeah, I was going to say that's good. Yeah.
I'm going to have to call my Xbox Bacon. So then when I turn it on, it just sizzles.
Nicole, I'm sorry for these two making fun of your name.
Don't feel bad, Nicole. I bet you sound delicious.
Okay, enough. All right. Was that the whole app thing? The thing that you were upset about that you told me to write down to make room for you?
I could have colored it up a whole lot worse.
Okay.
With the big 92 color box. Mm-hmm. But, the swear jar and my lack of change.
Yeah.
And for the people.
For the people, yes.
For the people. I tried to be as calm as I could be.
Right. And this might wind up being like a monthly segment of Chris being upset because of the WWE app.
You know what really grinds my gears?
The WWE app. Okay. Well, let's move on to something not as frustrating. Well, that might not be true. Let's talk about a match of the week from WWE programming. And it's my pick of match of the week. It is Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton.
Ooh.
That was probably Cody Rhodes' best match, period.
Period, yes.
Post-match, that might have been his best promo ever.
Yes. Who'd have thunk it that all this time, this guy that they've been trying to push as like this charismatic heel would have been a lot better as an underdog babyface. I don't think I would have seen that from Cody just based on the way they've had his career go from when he started till now. Like, he's always kind of been this quasi-charismatic heel, and he's never really gotten over the hump, so to speak. But last night he did.
I think the mustache helped. I think he got some face heat from that.
Well, he already got rid of the mustache, though. And people were still behind him.
Right,
people were wildly behind him.
Well, by the time he got rid of it, he was already face anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, okay.
What are you going to say, Chris? You look like you're about to say.
He just looked like he was picking up a lot of momentum along the way from the very beginning. His debut was a face tag team with Hardcore Holly.
That is true.
And I guess since he had just started there, he was struggling to find his niche or his groove as a face.
Yeah.
And then when he went through heel with Ted DiBiase and then winding up forming Legacy later on, it kind of helped him find his heel nature. Mm-hmm. But I think this has been his breakout year.
Yeah.
This year.
Just in general,
Cody. Yeah. And I think for me, what might have done it was his Money in the Bank feud with Sandow.
Mm-hmm.
Like that put him that gave Cody a little bit of prominence.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't mid-card. He was kind of breaking that glass ceiling with the main event. Not being in the main event per se, but, you know, feuding for the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Mm-hmm.
That gets a lot of people's attention. And he just carried that momentum over, and it paid off.
Well, ever since Money in the Bank, he was a face. He had intensity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, running to the ring and all these other promos he's been doing.
Right.
This last one though, as he was exiting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you that he was kind of on an upward trend here recently, but I don't think it was as prominent as it was last night.
Yeah.
You know, while I was kind of peeved out of the blueness of the whole match, where Cody was just walking backstage and then he just starts talking with, you know, Orton and Triple H, that did seem a little out of the blue. Like, it didn't really fit. It
was a
forced.
little dumb. Hey, I didn't get invited. Let me give you a present. It's a match.
Yeah,
that was dumb.
It was dumb. But once they got to the point where it's like, okay, well, we got that dumb part and the excuse to actually have this match out of the way, the match itself was gold. Mm-hmm. Gold, I tell you.
From the second Orton's music hit and Cody Rhodes had that facial expression like, oh, Jesus.
He acted so well. He acted it to a T.
I just want to back up and say WWE did a really good job of building that whole segment up.
Yeah.
You know, they got the fans behind it for sure. They had the little tweets during the match. I'm rooting for you. Hashtag all in.
Yeah.
That was genius on their part to do that. To have fans do that during the match.
And then all the wrestlers standing around the TV backstage just made it feel important.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
I kept thinking the outcome was going to be, he'll win by disqualification. Or
like Brian would come in and do something.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah. So when that actually happened, I was like, oh, okay. But then I was thinking, well, it's going to be temporary. He'll be back in whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. He's gone for a little while, and the whole thing about him getting married is apparently true. You know, he really is getting married. So why not take a little bit of time off to get married and go have a honeymoon?
Do you remember a diva named Brandy Reed?
Not specifically, but I know that
I had to Google pictures of her because I couldn't remember who she was. Yeah, she was a ring announcer or something for SmackDown, I think.
Okay.
For, I guess, like a cup of coffee or
something. Sounds familiar.
I saw pictures of her, man. I'm like, it is not ringing a bell at all for me.
Well, we are getting old, and our memory just isn't what it used to be.
And I know you don't need an excuse to Google anybody's picture.
No.
See, this is what I mean, that we can still be funny without having to swear.
The hell you say?
There you go. Now you're just doing it on purpose, trying to buy them.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? I'm just trying to play the game.
All right. Speaking of the game.
Poor transition.
Yeah, let's talk about...
That's what he does.
Let's talk about the beginning of Raw. When I first turned on the DVR and I started watching Raw, and I saw Triple H in the ring and the Shield standing out in front of the ring by the entrance ramp, I thought...
You did a double check from last... You thought you were watching last week.
I thought it was on... I literally thought... I was like, wait a second. I literally grabbed my remote, clicked on the thing to make sure I was playing the right week's episode, and checked the date. I literally had to do that.
Suckers.
I guess that's what they're going for.
I guess so, you know, but I was able to kind of forgive it because I was like, oh, well, that's going to be where the Shield stands during Triple H's stuff. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Whatever. And then, you know, he started cutting his promo, and, you know, Randy Orton came out and they started cutting promo, and then D-Bry came out, and it was all pretty much formulaic, you know. There was no big surprise there. And
no spontaneity.
Yeah, no spontaneity. Now, while we can poo-poo on that, D-Bry still did pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, he still had a couple of nice things to say, so to speak. You know?
There was a bit of that promo that D-Bry did. If you paid attention to it, it actually tied together to what happened at the end of Raw. And I don't know if you want me to go ahead and get to that or not, but
well,
why not?
Why not? Yeah, let's get to the end of the Raw. Where it's Big Show versus D-Bry, and Big Show basically does not want to beat up D-Bry, and
I have issues with that too.
I do too. Triple H comes out. Triple H forces Show to do it, and basically at the end of the day, Big Show knocks him out.
Right.
And there you go. That's it. Now, do you want to get to your issues first?
Yeah, I'll say mine and then...
Okay, go ahead.
Because we might be talking about the same thing.
We might all have the same issue. We all might have different issues. Go ahead, Trav.
Okay, wasn't Big Show heel like 2 months ago? 3 months ago?
Yeah.
If Big Show has always been a face, I could understand why he's like fighting so hard to resist like knocking or fighting D-Bry.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's...
Just last year, whenever D-Bry beat him for the,
not
the title.
Not even that. It's... Yeah, he's been a heel this whole time.
Yeah.
You know, he's got an ironclad contract. He doesn't care. He'll do whatever he wants.
Right.
Now all of a sudden he's crying because he's got to just punch D-Bry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is one of the things I was going to bring up.
Well, the other thing is the contract.
Yes. This whole thing about that he has to perform to a certain level,
to
otherwise it's not ironclad. Well, if you have to have a if-then statement, then it's not ironclad. If you perform this and that, then you have this and that. That's not the definition of an ironclad contract.
On SmackDown, on the Miz TV segment, the commentators kind of sneak that in under their breath there. JBL's like, oh, well, you better watch out. You know, Triple H will tear up that contract.
Yeah,
and then
I heard that.
And Michael Cole was, well, you know, the contract's only as good as the performance. It's like, what?
Since
really?
when?
Yeah.
Here's what I'm surprised at. Number one, last week you were complaining that they didn't bring up the ironclad contract.
No, I'm glad they did.
Now they're bringing it up, and you guys are complaining about that. Number two, it's John Laurinaitis that wrote up that contract. He's nowhere to be found now.
Well, if they, okay, this was my solution to the problem. My solution was, well, that was an old contract and it expired. An ironclad contract can expire. It can have a date on it.
Right.
So they could have just said, well, when we renewed your contract, we didn't leave in all that ironclad stuff in there.
From Laurinaitis.
You have just a regular contract. That's all they needed to say.
Right.
Like, yeah, you had an ironclad contract. Keyword, had. Your new contract doesn't have the same perks. That would have been so much easier, so much simpler than all the rigmarole that they're going through right now about the performance and da-da-da-da-da. They didn't need to do all that.
It's kind of like on Breaking Bad last week when Walt came up with this big solution why there's gasoline smells over the house. I don't know if you watched that or not, but he made this big elaborate explanation, and his son said, "Why are you lying? You just passed out." And that would have, that's not what would have happened, but you know, if that's the case, that's all he would have said. It would have been a lot simpler to cover up everything.
Okay.
So, a little Breaking Bad fans out there for you. So
I don't get that reference. Chris, do you get that reference?
Y'all don't watch Breaking Bad.
I spaced out while he started talking.
Yeah, we don't watch Breaking Bad, but I'm sure there's a few Breaking Bad listeners.
If you did a Walking Dead reference, I'd be right there.
Yeah, I'd be there with you too with Walking Dead. But,
so like that one time when Carl just said, "Oh, I'm not going to leave the house," and then Carl just left the house. Like I would have understood that.
That was like 2 seasons ago, man. Get more updated references.
There you go. Okay. Now here's the other thing that I have with this. I understand. Oh, okay. Let me preface this. Take away all the contract issues aside and the fact that Big Show was just a heel just not too long ago aside. Right. Move that away and just say, well, the story now is that Big Show's a face. He didn't want to hit him because he was standing up for his morals or whatever.
Or because they're friends.
Yeah, or because they're friends. Whatever you want to say. All right, fine. I can buy that. All right? I can buy it. But I can't really get on board with Big Show not acquiescing to Triple H's demands sooner.
This is why I have a dictionary app on my phone. So I can go back when I listen to the show and you hear these 5 and 6 syllable words that MC Whatchamaface over here is dropping. My problem isn't with the knucklehead. Well, actually, my problem was with Knucklehead because that's $1 Redbox rental that I'll never get back. My problem is that there's still a roster full of divas and wrestlers and matadors or whatever that are still standing there with their thumbs up their butts and not doing squat while the Daniel Bryan's getting triple teamed, quadruple teamed in the ring, and then the other big goof's not doing squat either. Nothing's
changing.
Nothing's changing. Like this is Daniel Bryan has been made out to look the victim every single week at the end of these episodes since the Orton title win.
And I don't mind that because eventually there'll have to be a payoff, and if you want the payoff to be at the pay-per-view, that's fine. On free TV, D-Bry gets kicked all over the place, and it makes you want to see him get his revenge at the pay-per-view even more. I don't fundamentally have a problem with that. What I was getting to with all that was that I had a problem with Big Show prolonging it so long to actually go and hit him. Because nobody was going to blame or fault Big Show for doing it because he was doing it under duress. You know, they were telling him, you have to do it or else we're going to take away your job. Like, okay, fine, I'll go ahead and do it. I'm not going to be happy with it. I'm not going to like it. Wham, hit him. That whole 15, 20 minute segment can be cut down to 5 minutes. Right, It went on for so long to the point that it just got boring.
It's like, just hit him already.
Stephanie had to come out once Big Show left, and then when Big Show finally knocked him out, Orton had to take 15 minutes to walk to the ring.
They showed a replay while he was walking to the ring.
Yeah, that dragged on way too long. And to your point, it's not just the pay-per-views. Before the pay-per-view, there has to be a payoff, a vengeance, a something from the face. Mm-hmm. And every episode is closed the same way. Just like you said, this felt just like last week's episode. This is all becoming like deja vu. And at some point, it's gonna get boring. And I hate to say that word because it's Daniel Bryan, but these segments with Orton and Bryan, it felt like this whole episode felt like it was good, it was okay, but if you missed it, you really didn't miss much.
Right. Everything's still the same from last week.
Everything's still the same.
Yeah.
And on top of the Big Show thing, one other thing kind of annoyed me was the whole Steph coming out with Big Show and saying, "You're broke, you have no money, so you need to work." They've done that before. I mean, that's just.
But honestly, I actually like that segment. Let's talk about that segment, Stephanie and Big Show. I liked it because it just showed how manipulative and how much of an evil genius Stephanie and the McMahons can be. Like, she was really doing straight psychological warfare on the Big Show. She was like, you remember when I was a 12-year-old little girl that you used to, protect and blah, blah, blah? Like, she was pulling out every trick in the book to guilt him into doing what they wanted him to do. And it worked!
Even on a broader stroke, that's how this whole storyline with Daniel Bryan has started. They've gone into Bryan's past life, that he's from a place in the middle of Washington, that he's wrestled in gyms in front of people for $20, that he started from the bottom and now we're here like Drake, Like, they're going into detail, they're going into their personal lives that people that are watching through the clicker would have never known if they didn't hear it from them.
Right.
And the more personal things that we're getting, Cody Rhodes getting married, or Big Show having the strip mall and that went broke, Daniel Bryan wrestling in gyms, all that stuff that you normally wouldn't have gotten, it's adding an extra layer of substance that just gets you more hooked into the whole storyline.
Speaking of, what did you think of Booker T being trying to play the impartial, you should think about this kind of thing?
Right now, it's just a random bit. It's Booker T, really? But I don't know if they're going to go anywhere else with it.
I was looking forward to signing up to the school, but if I'm only getting paid $20 a show, I don't know. I could sit at home and play Xbox instead.
That is true.
But it's just another situation of another person that's looking after D-Bry as a friend, but at the other side of the coin is another person telling him no. Yeah, when he's already gotten that, and look where that got him. He's almost top of the mountain.
I like the fact that they made it seem like Booker had good intentions and had Bryan's well-being set out in front of him, and still say that no, you shouldn't do this. Because it made it show that there's more depth to the psychology behind the whole storyline than it's just like, oh, the bad guys say no. Well, the bad guys say no, but there's probably reasons for why you should go with what the bad guys are saying. It just kind of adds some more depth and make you think about it a little bit more and make it more interesting. And Trav, you're right. If they go somewhere with it, that's great. But if they don't go somewhere with it, I'm fine with it just being a one-off thing, just to add a little pepper to the story.
Yeah, just another well-known face trying to come in and say, watch what you're doing, whatever.
Yeah.
What I was going to get to, when I was mentioning that the opening promo kind of tied into the ending promo, I took it as little symbolism there. The first part in the opening promo, when D-Bry's on the stick, he was saying, you didn't do anything. You didn't earn nothing. Everything was handed to you. Right? That was pretty much the last thing he said. Yeah. How did the show end? Orton didn't have to do anything. He walked out, put his foot on top of him, raised the belt up.
After Shield and Show.
Exactly.
And
after everybody else did the work, Orton didn't have to do anything.
Right.
So I took that as a little tie to the beginning.
That goes back to our thing that we were talking about from SummerSlam, where Orton didn't do anything.
Yeah.
You know, and we kind of threw out the idea that it could have been a complaint that, well, why didn't he at least hit the RKO? Why didn't he? No, because it doesn't work for this storyline. The story is that it is all literally handed to Randy Orton. He doesn't even have to do an RKO to win the belt. He doesn't even have to get his hands dirty and be out there during the segment for when D-Bry gets beat up on Raw. He could let everybody else do the dirty work and then walk out and just stand on top of him like he did all of it.
Right. But that lasting image on Raw, that was kind of summing up everything.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a good way to tie it all up in a little bow. And, you know, we got, one more Raw before the pay-per-view, right?
Yep. And 2 SmackDowns.
Okay. I do not mind seeing the same type of formula loosely played out again on Raw, as long as it's well done, in the sense that D-Bry gets his butt kicked, D-Bry gets taken advantage of again. I don't want to see D-Bry get the upper hand here on Raw. I want to see D-Bry get the upper hand at the pay-per-view. So if it comes out again that D-Bry is laid out at the end of, you know, this next week's Raw, I'll be fine with that.
Okay.
As long as it's good. This segment last night wasn't good because it was long, boring, and it dragged on.
Will the storyline work better with Bryan winning in his first rematch back at Night of Champions? Or will the storyline progress better if Orton's first title defense at Night of Champions he wins? Will all that momentum be lost? That's why I'm saying he needs at least one good Raw where Orton and everybody gets their comeuppance, so they can have that fear that, oh man, you know, whatever
he can read us.
That whatever we put in front of this dude, he could still win. You know.
Yeah, you know what? That might need to happen, but I don't think it needs to happen this Raw. This Raw, if he's still the whipping boy, he still has all that sympathy going into the pay-per-view, and then whatever happens at the pay-per-view, let's say he does get screwed out of the title, and it's like blatantly obviously screwed, and that D-Bry had the upper hand. Okay, the Raw after, let D-Bry get the upper hand. He may not get the title, but he'll finally beat everybody up, take out the Shield, take out Orton, take out whoever else gets involved in this storyline.
Well, they didn't do that after SummerSlam.
But he could. I'm saying for after this one, I don't mind it. But I don't want that to happen the night before or the Raw before.
If he becomes whipping boy again on Raw, and then he becomes a whipping boy or he loses the belt at SummerSlam, that's beating a dead horse, and that loses interest.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the one thing I want D-Bry to win at the pay-per-view, but for storyline's sake, I can't imagine them already giving the title.
Yeah. I would rather see Bryan somehow or double DQ or something shafty, but if that's going to happen, he needs to have, like I said earlier, he needs to have an upper hand so that he can instill faith in Orton, to have Orton think, you know what, I can't do nothing. I have to do something to beat Bryan. I can't just let everybody do it.
How about this? At the pay-per-view?
No.
At the pay-per-view, D-Bry gets the upper hand on everybody. Let's say the Shield tries to get involved and he intercepts the Shield so there's not a DQ. And then, you know, Triple H tries to come out or someone else tries to come out and D-Bry beats them all up. One of them gets a hit on D-Bry, so bam, DQ. But D-Bry lays them all out. He didn't win the match because of DQ or whatever, but he lays everybody out. He still looks good. He's still standing tall, but he doesn't have the belt, so he can still chase for the belt.
That's still your typical shenanigan ending to a pay-per-view. That's what TNA always does. Excuse me. That's what they used to do back in the day. So.
Yeah. Okay, well, you know what? I'm interested enough to see what's going to happen that at this point, there's several different routes that can happen that I'll probably still be okay with it.
One last thing about this whole storyline.
Okay.
The one thing I think that bothers both me and Chris is the roster standing on the stage, not doing anything.
Yeah, something has to happen.
Okay, you think that's going anywhere? It's not too long ago that Triple H had a walkout.
We said this last week before. You're right. I don't see what's stopping everybody from having a walkout on Triple H. It worked. Yeah. It worked last time.
Yeah. So I don't know why they don't do it now. That's why I'm thinking something's going to happen with this, with the roster being out there not being able to do anything. Either they're all going to walk out or they're all going to come down next time D-Bar gets, maybe on next week's Raw, since it's the go-home show before the pay-per-view.
I can't see all of them coming down because people that are up there standing are faces and heels, and I can't see the heels helping D-Bry. I can see all the faces doing it, but not necessarily the heels.
Plus all the faces go attack them, and then all the heels go to attack all the faces. Something.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think the walkout would probably be better suited for this, even though we've already seen it, and there'll probably be people out there that are going to be bitching at the fact that it was a walkout
last year, bro.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to happen. So,
well, and then that's the case of WWE kind of putting themselves in this situation.
Yeah, but you know what? We'll see. Right now, WWE has been pretty good over the last couple of months. So, let's not lose faith.
This is the first time in a while that I'm kind of like the main event scene. I'm like, ugh, I don't know where they're going with this.
Are you saying what I think? Were you going to say what I think you're going to say?
I don't know. What do you think I'm going to say?
You miss John Cena, don't you?
No.
Oh, no. No.
No, you misjudging me, my friend.
All right. Just throwing it out there.
Do you miss John Cena, Chris?
No.
No, I do not want Cena back. I'm glad that him and Sheamus are out of the picture because it is giving room for other people to...
Speaking of Sheamus, I was watching Total Divas, and did you watched it this week, right, Chris? Or no, Travis, but Chris didn't. Sorry. You're Travis. That's right. He's Chris. Okay. Travis, you watched Total Divas last night, right?
Yes, Chris, I did.
Okay. All right. Did you see, they were backstage somewhere where, Sheamus was there backstage walking down the hall or something like that while they were filming like one of the Funkadactyls or something, and they blurred out Sheamus's face?
No.
You didn't catch that?
No.
It happened. Go back and watch it. It was just really, really, really strange. Like, why would you blur out Sheamus?
What I thought was strange was they showed Jey Uso. Mm-hmm. And they had, the little name thing came up and they said Jey Uso, WWE Superstar. But this whole season, Jimmy Uso or John or whatever his name is, they call him John. They don't call him his ring name. I thought it was kind of weird. I was like, what? Okay.
I didn't pick up on that one. I might have to go back and rewatch that.
Okay.
For that.
Whatever, it's your time.
Well.
And that's why I don't watch it, so I don't get stressed out like you guys.
I don't know. It just struck me as weird with the Sheamus thing. Okay. Well, you know what? Speaking of Sheamus being out and being injured, we had a slew of injuries this past week.
A slew, you say?
A slew, yes.
Please do tell.
Well, let's start off with Fandango. He has a nose injury. Then we have...
He was not fighting RVD.
Right.
I just want to point that out.
We also have Mark Henry's hamstring. Yeah. And then we have Christian with a concussion. Christian?
No.
No, that doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work.
Concerto? Okay. Well, anyway, so yeah, we got... Wow, what happened? What happened this week? Why is everybody all of a sudden just dropping like flies?
They want to be mystery guests at the next Royal Rumble, that's why.
Oh, that's mystery entrant.
Mystery entrant, number 37.
That'd be awesome if there's a wrestler that purposely tries to get injured on purpose at certain times during the year so they can make their mystery return at certain...
They talk to Dr. Andrews. Hey, if I get this injury, how long will I be out? And then they look at the calendar. Perfect. I'm going to get that done tomorrow. RVD, we're having a match. Hit me here.
Okay. Christian shouldn't be out that long. It's just a concussion, right?
Less than a month.
All right.
It's just protocol.
What about Mark Henry's hamstring?
Hamstring, a regular human-sized hamstring shouldn't be that bad, but Mark Henry's, it's the size
brontosaurus size.
It's the size of a golden corral, so I don't really know how long that would take.
It's the world's strongest hamstring, so so it should be okay, right? You just slip it off, walk it off.
So either it'll take really, really long to heal because it's a really big hamstring, or it'll be really short amount of time to heal because he's the world's strongest man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I sure hope it's nothing too serious because ever since Henry came back from his last injury, he's probably been the best that we've ever seen him.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't want that kind of momentum
lost
to be stopped by that. And number two, with all the injuries he's had, it might just take one more to say, you know what, I think I'm done.
Yeah.
I got to backtrack on that one. After he lost to John Cena, that's when his momentum stopped.
Oh, well, that's when I thought his momentum stopped too, but him coming back.
Yeah.
That month was...
Oh, yeah, that month? Yeah. That was
gold.
Great. Yeah. But then after he lost that pay-per-view to Cena, no, that's it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, Fandango's nose.
I don't care.
That it hurts, dude. I've broken my nose. It's not fun. Really.
Okay.
Let me see if you guys can tell. Look straight from the top here and go down and see if you can tell a curve.
Yeah, you curve this way.
Yeah.
To your right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. From the top down.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can't tell when your glasses are on, but now you take it off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
you
not
look
fun.
like Skeeter from Doug.
And nobody understood what we were just doing.
I hope somebody got that reference.
No, I'm talking about the nose thing. He
earned a lot of he must have earned a lot of points with the guys from the back. Any injury that a wrestler gets and they still stick it out and finish the match, they're gonna pay close attention to you.
Yeah.
Like this guy, we can run with this guy. We can run with this guy.
Yeah.
You know.
How long do you think he'll be out? Do you think he'll even miss any ring time?
I don't even think he'll be out at all because this happened during the commercial break. On the WWE app, your favorite.
Oh, yes.
Most of that time...
I was trying to figure out how to download it anyways.
Most of the time, you see, if you would have listened to my instructions, most of the time on that app was just the medics cleaning up all the blood and stuff from his face once the nose got broken. It was actually a kick that The Miz did. He tried to do
like
this
a spinning heel kick, right?
He tried to do like this weak Shawn Michaels build-up where he's like stomping on his foot, and then he ran across the rope and just did that face stomp.
Yeah.
Just run kick up. That kick busted up Fandango's nose.
Ooh.
So the whole commercial break was the medics trying to sop up the blood in the nose and trying to get him back.
See, if they're smart, they'll play this into a storyline.
Yeah, when he comes
face.
back.
Yeah, it's his face. You know.
Yeah.
Don't touch the face.
Oh man, what if they give him
Cody Rhodes mask?
A mask gimmick like, oh, you messed up my nose. Yeah.
I'm still man pretty.
Yeah. I think they could pull that off with him. Like he would be divalicious enough.
Nose.
Wow. Way to go, Chris.
That's something TNA would do, huh?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Next order of business on here. The Divas have a 4-way set up now.
Speaking of delicious.
Yeah, we're gonna have
eating some bacon during that.
Oh Jesus.
Okay. we're cheese. All right.
Not cheese. Bacon.
I said cheese.
Oh.
All right. We're going to have Natalya versus AJ versus one of the Funkadactyls and one of the Bellas. Brie, right?
Naomi.
And Naomi. Naomi and Brie. There you go. I'm down with that.
I'm down with it too.
I'm interested to see that match. I'd like to see what'll happen. Naomi is probably, she is the better wrestler out of the Funkadactyls. And Brie seems to be holding her own lately. And we all know AJ can go and we all know Natalya can go. So I'm really looking forward to this match. And I don't remember when the last time we've seen a Divas 4-way was. So that'd be interesting.
The Fatal
to see.
4-way pay-per-view, the one time they had it. There was a Divas Fatal 4-way.
There was?
Yeah.
I don't
remember
that.
But that was about 3 years ago.
I was about to say, that must have been when Beth Phoenix was still around.
Yeah. Was they only did that pay-per-view one time. That was when the Nexus was around.
Okay.
So it dates back.
I vaguely remember it, but I'm an old man. I don't have a good memory anymore.
Your scalp shows.
Yeah. I'm going to turn 30 this month, guys.
30? I got you beat by 2 years.
I got you beat by 3 years.
Oh, God. This is what I have to look forward to? Ugh.
Somebody, your face isn't helping either.
Somebody get me a tissue.
Neither of your motor functions if it took you long enough to react to that joke. Well, let's talk about the positives.
All right.
Let's see. So moving on, what's next on the list?
All right, next on the list. I think that's actually it for WWE talk, unless there's anything else you guys want to add.
I think that's about enough. The CM Punk promo was pretty much.
Oh yeah, CM Punk. I forgot about
another
him.
week, another CM Punk promo where he says he's going to stop talking about what he's going to do, and that promo took about 10 minutes.
Yeah. It took 10 minutes to say I'm not going to talk anymore.
It's not that CM Punk is, having a 10-minute long CM Punk promo is a bad thing. I mean, Punk's always been good on the mic, but yeah, you're right.
That was just another example of it felt just like last week's show, and if you missed this week's show, you probably didn't miss much.
Yeah.
I think they're getting to the point where we mentioned a few weeks ago where they said everything they can in promos. What else do you have to say?
Yeah. And that's where they're at. That's the point that they're at. Like last week with the caning and all that, that was a big plot point.
You have to see. You had to see
watch
this.
it.
You didn't really have to see.
This was just CM Punk being mad and saying, "I'm going to hit you with a cane now," and that's pretty much it.
Do y'all think it's okay at the pay-per-view that the IC title's not on the line?
It's not.
Yeah,
that's fine.
It's just a handicap.
It's Night of Champions. It should be on the line.
Yeah, it's elimination tag team match. Or elimination handicap match, whatever.
Circumstances notwithstanding, I don't want to see CM Punk win the Intercontinental title if that's the way the match is booked, because that would have him taking a step down.
Right.
We need him back in the main event.
I can see CM Punk, like, if they told CM Punk in the back, hey, you're going to fight him, you're going to win the title, I can see CM Punk saying no.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just thought that was weird that he's fighting the IC champ at Night of Champions, and that means the IC champ.
Last week's promo video for that, where the caning, they showed it twice.
Yeah.
So last night's CM Punk promo wasn't really necessary. All they had to do was show the video once, maybe even show it again later, and that's it. Like you said, you can't top what happened last week.
Right. So
last week pretty much just sets up whatever the match is going to be, so you really don't need anything else.
Yeah.
So.
All right. I can't believe of all people, forgot about Punk. I guess that speaks to the segment on Raw and how...
The very idea.
Right. Okay. Let's talk about TNA, shall we?
Let's start with AJ Styles.
Okay.
Get that out of the way.
Let's get that out of the way.
It
wasn't the pipe bomb. It was more of the firecracker.
The sparkler.
The sparkler. The dud.
The snake.
The whatever. Oh my god.
Or if you watch,
if I had enough money, I would have traveled back in time to Cleveland where they had this live taping, and I would have needed the money for bail money because I would have slapped the piss out of every single fan that was in attendance that day at the show.
Wow, I think he just blew up our microphone.
Yeah, I brought it back to life.
Okay.
That crowd, the substance of the promo was actually very good. A little long.
Actually, I have problems with the substance, but continue. We'll get to that.
That crowd didn't know whether to cheer, boo, wind their watch, take a dump, look behind them. They didn't know what they were doing. Mm-hmm. They pretty much ruined the entire promo.
Yeah.
The crowd
I agree.
The crowd did.
Okay.
We got an explanation when we first found out that the Phenomenal was coming back, and we had no idea why. He gave some kind of explanation.
Do we buy it? Does it make sense? I mean, is it acceptable?
No, I don't think it's acceptable. I don't like it. This whole last week
the promo goes back to, if you wanted to come back and spew out all the garbage of why you're still the one-man group, then you didn't have to come back and do the posing and the stripping and the crowd affections and all this other
changing
junk.
back to the
and
music.
changing back to the music and changing back to the outfit, all that. You didn't have to do any of that.
Yeah, that goes back to last week. We were talking about that. He didn't need to. If he was going to cut the kind of promo that he did this week and still have the content, we're not talking about the execution of the promo. We're talking about the content. Because you want to, talk about the crowd. I think some of it's actually on AJ. His delivery and the execution of the promo itself wasn't that good. But if we want to put that aside and talk about the content, you didn't need to have that happen if you had booked it the way we were talking about last week, where he came out to the surprise of the Main Event Mafia, didn't necessarily do the whole phenomenal bit, and just still came out as a loner and just kind of had the Main Event Mafia be like, can we trust this guy? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Instead of having Tanay go, oh my God, it's a phenomenal.
We all agreed that we can't go back to the AJ Loner thing. And the promo
was him going back to the AJ
Loner thing. And it's just not going to work.
It didn't make sense. It doesn't work. They fumbled the ball and it's not good. Now, here's where I want to talk about with the content, more of the content. He was trying to cut a heel promo on Dixie and TNA in general, while still trying to be a face, but trying to be edgy, quote unquote, at the same time, trying to be like...
He didn't pick a character and just run with it. He went like 2 or 3 different variations of what he wanted to do.
He straddled 5 fences. Yeah. And that's not comfortable.
That sounds painful.
It is painful.
Yeah. I had to straddle 2 or 3 just to get to the back door here.
I'm kind of surprised you did that, man.
I thought I wanted to be on the show. It's like chicken soup for the soul.
I feel sorry for your soul.
If you had any idea.
So, and here, let's get back to AJ, please. Okay.
Chicken and bacon. This is going to be a delicious show.
Jesus. Chicken and bacon. All right. Here's the other thing.
With ice cream.
He was basically saying, shut up. He was basically saying that he said, I enjoy what I do in this ring, but to me, it's just a job. How can you... What kind of reaction are you trying to get? Because you're not going to get a sympathetic face reaction from anybody basically saying that I don't like my job sucks, when you get paid thousands of dollars to be a famous athlete.
It's TNA, it's probably just hundreds of dollars. And then the next sentence that came out of his mouth was something about, do you guys understand about having that kind of job? And then the crowd reacted to it. So that actually had a purpose to come around back to. Yeah. But the straddling of all the different egos and fences and stuff, it was all over the place. It was all over the place. Like I mentioned you guys when we rewatched it before we recorded. He said something about, I like being the guy. I like carrying the company on my shoulders. The question is, and he said, can I be the heavyweight champion? That was the wrong question. If you wanted to end it on a decent note, you should have asked, the question is, do I want to be? That way, at least he's reinforcing the loner gimmick as opposed to him waving the TNA flag, yet wearing loner colors. Yeah. Like, that didn't make sense. Like, that's where the whole promo just, like, babbled on and on.
Yeah, and on the other side of that coin, why am I gonna get behind you if you're saying that, you like being the guy that has the company on your shoulders, but then you
just said 5 minutes ago, it's just a job.
It's just a job, and you're whining and bitching about the fact that you were doing that and you didn't like the fact that you were doing that. It was just too conflicting, and you sounded too whiny and moany about it. It didn't come off as like the cool, edgy loner. It came off as like, dude, suck it up. You have a dream job. Don't complain to me about your dream job. Like,
the thing was,
you're on TV, you're making a lot of money. Yeah, it's TNA. We can make the joke that's not that much money, but you're a celebrity. You're on national. Put that joke aside. That joke's too easy.
AJ
but I mean, do you see what I'm saying?
AJ lost me when he came out and did the phenomenal thingy back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Last week was his attempt to try to get me back, and he failed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think this promo was made out to kind of sabotage AJ because the whole contract thing? Maybe they're just like saying, F it. Like
I don't know.
They don't even know what to do with it.
I have a feeling that the contract stuff is already taken care of. Mm-hmm. That behind the scenes, TNA and AJ have already talked. They've probably already come to a verbal agreement and a handshake, and that's it. And they haven't made anything official.
He signed an extension.
Did he?
Yeah, I remember seeing that somewhere. But he filed an extension.
Okay.
So,
but then there you go.
Well, it's an extension. It's not really extension can be just a couple weeks or whatever. So,
but it still means that they're playing ball.
Right.
So I don't know if that's going to necessarily directly affect his on-air character right now in a negative way. Like, they're sabotaging him. If they're trying to keep him and if they're playing ball, it'd be stupid for them to try to sabotage him, because what if he does sign the dotted line? Now you have a polished turd that you're going to have to deal with.
Well, they're used to that as TNA.
That explains the smell at every TNA show I go to. It's been many, surprisingly.
Oh, boy. All right.
Let's talk about something better.
Let's talk about something...
Boobs!
Yes! Boobs. Boobs are great.
Yes.
Boobs are fun.
Better than 2 is 4.
4 boobs. Yeah. Especially when those boobs belong to Gail Kim and ODB.
Yes.
And... Gail Kim at ODB. Does that deserve some money in the swear jar?
No, that deserves a match of the week candidacy.
Okay, there
that's
we go.
What that was. That's 2 out of 3 falls.
Yes, match of the week candidate. Not my pick for match of the week. That goes to Cody Orton.
Mine too.
But
it's
this
up there.
is darn close.
It might have been the best television on TNA, and there was some good competition on that show too. Mm-hmm. But the women brought it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had pacing, it had psychology. Gail had a game plan.
It didn't have a fall in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah,
I know you guys were happy about that.
If I want to pick a nit, it's this. The way ODB won, it was kind of out of nowhere while she was doing a good job of selling the leg the whole match. Yes, but then all of a sudden she super ODB'd and then won the match, and that was it. And I don't know if the whole super ODB gimmick works.
The end of the match, that's the reason why I'm not saying this match of the week. But up until the
that's
end of
its
the match,
one fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, but
he's got a little sloppy at the end. But.
Yeah, all throughout the rest of the match with Gale working the leg, ODB selling the leg, OBD trying to use the leg and then forgetting, oh wait, that hurt. I shouldn't have tried to kick her. Like that all worked. Yeah. And it was great. It was.
Well, she had the power of the flask, right? Yeah.
Yes, the power of the flask.
Yeah.
So yay, match of the week candidate. There we go.
And there's another one. There's another one that I want to say match of the week also.
Well, Trav, have you picked your match of the week yet?
Yeah, I agreed with you. The Cody.
Cody. Okay, I thought you were going to transition to our next match of the week candidate, which
I say it's another candidate for sure. It was the
Aries versus Daniels.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I stole your thunder, dude. I am such thunder. Thank you, Chris. That was a great sound effect. Anyway,
it'll sound better on audio. Trust me.
No. Okay.
Unless we find an audio file of whatever the hell you're trying to do.
Actual thunder, maybe.
Undertaker's entrance. You can splice some of that in there.
Okay.
Figure it out.
Okay.
Because you're not going to have a hard enough time already with the show.
Exactly. All right. Anyway, Aries versus Daniels match of the week. Travis, you tell us all about it.
Why do I have to talk about it?
Because
it was a good match.
Okay, elaborate. Why was it a good match? We can't just come on a show and say, "Hey, this was a good match," and be done. Come on. That doesn't make for good radio.
Well, you do such a better job of explaining these kind of things. So why don't you explain?
Well, I was hoping you would.
Honestly, I don't remember that much about it. But I remember when I did watch it.
You remember when you were watching it that it was good?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I suffer from the same...
Just the fact that it is Austin Aries in a match, isn't that good enough?
Yeah, when you add Christopher Daniels.
There you go. Did you really? Okay.
Yeah, I did. Oh. I'm sorry. Anyway.
That deserves a coin.
No, it doesn't. Anyway, from what I can remember, like I said, this was a crazy weekend that we just got done doing, and this whole week.
Well, you can't remember. It's because you had a long weekend. But when I can remember, jeez.
I'm saying for both of us.
It's his old age.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, getting so old. Anyway, okay, Aries Daniels, good match. They had some good psychology. I like the stuff that was kind of going on at the beginning, and even before it in their little backstage segment when they were just, kind of talking smack to each other. Mm-hmm. That was a good exchange there. Yeah. And then, I don't know, it seems as though the pacing for everything that Styles, Daniels, Aries, Kazarian, everything that they do, pacing wise is just so crisp, clean, fluid, and fast. All four of these guys seem that they can't do any wrong. And when you put both of them in a match together, like they did this week with Aries and Daniels, holy Toledo. Mm-hmm. See, I edited myself there. Said holy Toledo. See, the swear jar is working.
Let's break out an idiocy jar now for Abel. See that old age again, that late reaction.
Yeah. All right. Screw you guys. Chris, do you want to say anything about that match?
Nothing you guys have already said.
Okay.
Which is nothing.
Which is pretty much nothing.
Except it was a great match. Y'all just saying, oh, it's a good match. That's what no, it was a great match. From the beginning to the promo to the way it finished.
Alright. How did it finish, Chris?
The hell if I remember. We had a long weekend. It shows how old Abel is because he took his own money to put in the swear jar for one of my words.
Mm.
Yeah, well.
That's how nice he is.
Yeah. It was just a penny this time, so it was fine. Okay, let's talk about aces and eights a little bit.
A little bit?
A little bit.
That is kind of the main thing going on in TNA right now.
Aces and eights have some tension within their own ranks. And it's prolonged again this week.
I think they're going the route that I kind of predicted last week on our show.
Yeah, you might be
right. It's going to be Bully and Tito and Brooke, and they're just going to be kind of kicking the rest of the Ace and Eights to the curb there.
Yeah.
That's what it... But, the whole intro promo, the beginning promo when Bully just kind of patched in Tito to the club.
Yeah.
You can't really do that in a motorcycle club. Not that I'm a part of a club or anything, but I watch a lot of Sons of Anarchy, so I know these kind of things.
And you've probably also seen Gangland.
No.
Okay.
Don't feel bad. I haven't watched either.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway.
Well, according to the telly.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not the way biker gangs work.
Right.
Yeah.
There was a Simpsons episode I think I could try to reference with you guys. I could try.
Okay. Yeah.
Do it.
You got nothing. You got nothing. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, you're right. I've never known of, but then again, I'm not an expert on biker gangs, but I've never known of a biker gang to just admit people without patching them in and going through the whole process. Yeah, it's a
common
vote.
Knowledge. It's
a vote or a jump in or blood in, blood out, right? Isn't it something like that?
There's peanut butter involved.
Maybe. I don't know, but basically that's where all the beef comes from.
Peanut butter mud flaps.
That's where all the beef comes from with the rest of the aces and eights with Bully. The fact that he just gave a patch to Tito. So yeah, that's pretty. What are you guys laughing at?
Peanut butter, beef, bacon. What else are we gonna have on this menu? By the way, the spaghetti your wife made was awesome.
Yeah, that's some good stuff.
It's still swimming in my stomach.
It was delicious.
I keep thinking of it every time I stare down and I see the stains right here on your mat.
The ones that you left?
Yes. Yeah, the ones that I left, yeah.
You're so messy.
And you're complaining about it now? I'm kind of speechless. A first for WrestleView Radio. A quiet Abel.
Did you say
Shut up!
Did you say WrestleView Radio?
Houston Wrestling Radio. Shut up. I get my shows confused. I was going to call this the Ask Women show for a second there. Yeah, half the crowd, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, back to the show.
Yes, please. Back to the show. Oh, jeez. All right.
And cheese. That was what was missing.
I didn't say cheese.
No, Chris did.
Cheese. See that gray hair right there? I just gave him that just now.
Oh, wow, it's like magic.
I know.
What's the name of that kid? Dennis the Menace. It's like, Dennis! That's how I feel right now.
Wow, let's get a reference to the right century over here.
Yeah.
Who knows Dennis the Menace anymore?
I'm so old that I'm making Dennis the Menace references.
I do have a slingshot in the car.
That I believe.
Yeah.
Well, gee, Mr. Wilson. Alright. Let's move on. Let's try to get back to the aces and eights. This is a wrestling podcast. Let's talk about wrestling. All right.
Blooper reel.
Yes, this should be for the blooper reel. All right. So it seems as though that they're going that route where it's going to be Tito, Bully, and Brooke. But you're saying that you think that the rest of the aces and eights are just going to be thrown out to the wayside.
It's going to be aces and eights Wolfpack.
Well, okay. Funny you mentioned that. Because that's kind of what I was going to go with, but with a different... I was going to say that Bully, Brooke, and Tito were going to be the ones that changed their name, that they're going to be something else. They're going to be, for lack of a better word, the Wolfpack. And I think that the other four are going to stay as the aces and eights and be a not so powerful stable.
I can
that's
see
just
that.
a regular stable, but they'll still call themselves
I can see that because they're continuing the traditions of aces and eights, where Bully's doing his own thing now.
Exactly.
So
Chris, why are you shaking your head on that? Chris, you...
It's not my fault that they record 2 shows in one night, you know. That's my problem. That's why I can't watch SmackDown. If I already know what happens 4 days in advance, I can't watch it.
I'm about to lose all the rest of my
Here,
change.
I'm gonna put my change in there too. Knock yourself out. Go.
Chris, you goddamn motherfucking spoiling reading ass bitch. We try to keep our show spoiler free. We try to stay spoiler free.
I haven't said anything. I just know that
the look on your face was enough. You giggling over there while I'm talking about, well, what could happen is this and that, and then you're just like, and I'm like, what? You're like, oh, I read the spoilers. Well, that's bad enough as it is.
Well, I'll do you a favor, and I'm not gonna ruin it.
Okay, thank you. Even though you kind of already halfway did.
It was the butler in the office with the axe.
Okay. With an axe now this time?
I have no...
Okay.
For the 2 people that have ever played Clue, I've never even played Clue. How the hell do I know that reference?
Watch the movie?
You said hell.
I've never watched
That's
it. They had a movie?
Oh, watch the movie. The Maid. Oh.
Oh, yeah? Cleavage?
Mm-hmm.
Santa Maria.
Short skirt?
Mm-hmm.
Short skirt?
Mm-hmm.
Any action?
But watch it.
Okay. Are we doing TNA talk? I
It's
feel
not
like we're
softcore,
done.
is it?
Hey, back, come on, back to reality. Are we doing TNA talk? Is there anything else either one of you two want to add? Chris, don't even add because you already know what happens because you already had spoilers. Trav?
Not what? Okay. Not for the actual show, but I will say, I went back through recommendation of Chris and I listened to the Samoa Joe interview on the Steve Austin show. Primo stuff there. So, go check that out.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
That's it.
Okay. I think that's going to be it for us. Thank you so much for tuning in. However you were listening to our show, whether it's on our webpage, HoustonWrestlingRadio.com, or if you were on the YouTube channel, or if you were listening to us downloaded off of iTunes, or if you took us with you on the go on the Stitcher Radio app for iPhone and Android. Thank you so much. Also go to our Facebook page, leave us some feedback, leave us a message, like our Facebook page, it's facebook.com/Houston Wrestling Radio. Also, follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @HWrestlingRadio. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Next week...
Hubba.
Sorry, I showed him a picture of the maid from Glue.
Wow. We're going to have to kind of finish the show here quick so you can keep looking at these pictures.
Oh, I finished already.
Oh, God.
Hey, real quick. One thing we didn't mention, I wanted to kind of throw out there. NXT. I guess an unheard of match of the week candidate here. Emma versus Summer Rae on this week's episode of NXT.
I thought we established that we weren't going to include NXT stuff.
That's why I just said unheard of. It's just, don't worry about it.
He's trying to get us to watch it, so we're going to watch it.
Or maybe other people. You know, it's not about you.
I didn't say it was about me at all. I was just saying that we had said that we weren't going to include NXT in matches of the candidates.
Mm-hmm. It's all about him.
What?
MC
How is that all about me?
Oh my God. So anyway, for those of you who are not able, who'd like to go, want to see other wrestling other than Raw and Impact, check out NXT. It's free on Hulu now. You don't have to pay for it.
Oh, that's why you're all up on Hulu now. Now that it's free, Mr. Cheap Pants over here. And yes, I had to edit myself there. Yeah, Mr. Cheap Pants now is all about NXT because it's free.
Or because I'm a wrestling fan and I want to see other wrestling.
Oh, sure. Why didn't you watch it before when it wasn't free?
Because
you're cheap.
At least he showed up to the convention.
Yeah, unlike you, fool. you didn't go on Saturday. Huh?
You don't remember the part where I showed up?
Yeah, for half of one of the days. It was a 2-day convention.
Well, I wasn't trying to throw any of us under the bus.
Oh,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excuse me, Abel, for trying to let people know that you can watch NXT for free now. And there was a good match on this last week's episode.
Okay, well, there you go.
I'll never do it again. We'll just stick with Raw and Impact the rest of the time.
No, we could talk about NXT. I'm just saying that it doesn't need to be match this week.
No.
It's not on TV, so we won't talk about it.
Don't worry about it. We just have to conform to his way because it's his show.
Yeah.
And if we don't do what he says, he's going to fire us, and then you're going to wind up looking through the dog door of your own house, while he's recording the podcast by himself in your house.
I did hear him during the weekend. He was telling, you can check out my show on this website. I heard you a couple times.
Mm-hmm. I see where this is
going.
Hey,
on the YouTube little clip I put there, I mentioned us as co-hosts.
Yeah. How many?
Fire up your resume.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Hi. Okay. Anyway,
me and Chris were doing our own podcast. You'll stick to yours.
Yeah. High 3.
All right. Well, next week on this podcast, provided that this will be a podcast, we're gonna have Ruthless Ryan Davidson on the show.
Who the hell's that?
You just said hell. You just said hell. Here, throw in a. There you go.
That's not really a cuss word, but okay.
Yeah. No, we've been counting hell.
We need to go over the words that we're using because I could have found half of them in the dictionary right here on my phone.
Yeah. Okay. Ruthless Ryan, dude from
I know who Ruthless is.
Well, I was just saying it for the fans.
Is he going to be over the phone or in person?
I'm hoping in person.
All right. So we'll see. We can put Travis in check this time.
We never had because he's a heel at Booker T's ROW.
Yeah, this is the first time that we're going to have a heel from ROW, which I think that's long overdue. We've been needing to have a heel on, I think.
You think so? Mm-hmm. Well, it is your show, so.
Oh my God. After that, the following week, we're also going to have another interesting interview, but I don't want to give too much away on that because some stuff still isn't confirmed. But the following week, you might want to check that out. Just to build a little bit of hype. I was like, ooh, they might have somebody on. That's cool. You know, mysterious.
So I guess we're just gonna have to wait and find out.
Yeah, wait and find out. Check our Facebook page. Check our Twitter.
If it doesn't happen, don't be disappointed.
All right, is that it? Are we done?
Are we, boss?
Oh, God.
We're done in more ways than one.
You guys are being so catty tonight.
Meh.
All right, adios, my friends. Keep it classy.
Toodles.
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
Boo!